one of the most important advice that we can give as well, especially for beginner artists and up-and-comer artists who haven't launched yet. Take your fucking time.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Headliner Mindset Podcast. This week's guest is one of the hottest rising acts in bass music. They just released a full-length album on Slander and NGHTMRE's Gud Vibrations record label and are about to embark on their first ever national headlining tour, playing shows all over the country. In this episode, we dive into the pros and cons of being in a duo, their creative process behind creating a full-length album while also staying consistent with releasing singles, the pressure that comes with jumping from being a support DJ to a headliner, and much, much more. This is Riot. Tom, Daniel, Riot, welcome to the show, guys.
Hi there. Thank you for having us.
Yo, so stoked to see you again. I had the pleasure of getting to hang out with both of you at Lost Lands last year.
That was awesome.
Shout out Sippy. She invited me to come out as her coach and get to go behind the scenes and backstage and meet all these incredible people and artists. And you were two of the guys that I got to hang out with and bro out with a little bit out there. So you guys, I can vouch that we are talking to two of the coolest fucking dudes in the music industry right here, because I actually got to hang out with them personally. So yeah, I had a blast with you guys out there.
Awesome. Yeah. No, it was a really good time.
We did too. Yeah.
I heard you just also played Shambhala, we were just talking about a second ago. How was that festival? That's the one I've always wanted to go to.
Crazy. Yeah. Very different than other festivals we got to play in the US.
Right.
Yeah. And even the ride through, like, just getting there was kind of wild.
That was such a hustle, but it was worth every minute, let me tell you, man. We flew from LA to Seattle, landed in Seattle, 2 hours layover, flew to Spokane, spent the night there, had a pickup from the festival, drove 3.5 hours to into Canada and then to our hotel. Yeah. And then from there, it was another hour to get to the festival.
Damn.
So it was quite the trip. But first of all those drives were amazing.
Yeah, it's
like
so
the scenery, how green it was.
Stuff.
It's the wild. It's literally in the wild.
I was hoping to catch like a moose or something.
Yes, a driver. Yeah.
Dude, that's so cool. Like, how blessed are you guys to be able to see the world? Through your music, through your passion, through your art, through your creativity. I think that is so many people's dreams, is to tour, to play these shows, but also just to see all these different parts of the world. That must be so awesome.
It is. Sometimes it's easy also to get caught up in the hustle and the work and the studio and the shows. But moments like just driving through Canada and watching the nature and it clicks for a sudden. And you're like, wow, I can't believe this is my job.
Yeah. And also it's a bit tricky because all this travel on one end, that's the goal, that's what we always wanted to do. We wanted to do what we love, which is music. And we wanted to be fortunate enough to be able to share it with the rest of the world and then see all those places. But reason why it's tricky is because travel is probably the most exhausting part of being a touring artist. All those airports and drives and lack of sleep in different time zones, which are, I think it's stuff that most of the people don't really see.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, that's amazing. Get to travel the world.
They just see the photos,
the highlights,
the set,
but it's definitely travel is definitely a big part of how exhausting it can also be and how important it is to keep your mind in the right state and, also work internally to be balanced.
Mm-hmm. So how do you do that?
I personally, when I knew that this album is coming and this tour is coming, me personally, I decided to, focus on my diet, focus on exercising, meditation. I do recovery. Also a couple times a month, ice baths, also seeing a therapist, because why not? You can always keep working on yourself and get better.
Yeah, 100%.
So this is stuff that I've been doing, creating some sort of routine. So when those really extreme lifestyle comes in, you're very much like, you're grounded and like, it doesn't overwhelm you and it doesn't overtake you in that sense.
Yeah. I love hearing you talk about that, and it's something that comes up all the time on this podcast where it's like, you guys are kind of like professional athletes, like it is a big toll on your body and on your mind. And, that was something I used to always, tell Sippy when I was working with her. It was like, you're like an F1 car, right? You are on this like fast track of touring.
Who's your favorite team?
Shows. My favorite F1 team?
Yeah.
Ooh, I haven't been following this last season, but I would say I'm a Red Bull fan. I just love Red Bull in general because I'm a caffeine addict and I love their whole brand of what they do, just all the extreme sports and so I'm just a big Red Bull fan in general, so I usually root for them.
That's valid. That's valid.
Yeah. But it's cool to hear you guys talking about that, the importance of just having those healthy practices in place, because like you said, I think it's something a lot of people don't realize is once you get there and you realize like, oh shit, this is harder than I thought.
Yeah. It's really easy to get caught up in it, and it's also very easy to get burnt out without even noticing that you're burnt out. Like by the time that you notice it, like it's almost too late, and you need to reroute yourself. And so instead of that, also especially after we started Riot in 2012. Yeah. We have a little bit of experience of touring under our belts. So that's why I was like, this time around, I was like, let's do preemptive actions because I already know what's coming. Yeah. So I'm going to prepare myself to the best of my personal ability to make sure that my mind is in the right place, that I'm not getting to be burnt out, because it's it did happen in the past, and it happens to artists all the time, whether they talk about it or not.
Totally. Yeah, totally. And that's why I'm glad that we are talking about it. Something I talk to my clients a lot as well, as far as the clients that I work with that are not yet touring. I'm always encouraging them, like, put those habits in place now, right? Even though you're not touring, it's like start, exercising, getting that stuff dialed in, having that solid foundation so that when your time comes and you get that call and you're going to go on tour, you're not starting from scratch. It's like all of these are obviously, these are just like healthy lifestyle habits that everybody should be doing anyways, but it becomes like 10 times as important when you start living that touring lifestyle.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So you just said that you guys started this project in 2012. That's 13 years. Pretty cool. Yeah. I'd love to hear a little bit about your story. How did you guys meet? How did you guys form this duo? Give me a little bit of background on how you guys started this project in the first place.
Well, we both pursued music in different capacities before we met, but we were connected by my cousin, which is Tom's best friend from high school. Yeah. So he kind of made the link. I was producing. Tom was already a very established DJ in Israel. So it kind of made sense because I wanted to play shows. He wanted to make original music. Yeah. So it kind of the combo made a lot of sense. Also, we got along pretty well. Yeah. Cool. And that's you need that chemistry. Otherwise, a duo, I don't think would
it's
work.
It's a full-on marriage.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I wanted to ask about that, as far as what are some of the challenges that come with being a duo?
Oh, it's like a marriage. We've been through, like you said, 13 years. So that's a lot of ups and downs and, bad times, good times. Yeah. But I'd say today, the past 2-3 years, it's been the best, really. Our relationship, also the project
I think
itself.
Every relationship, even when you date someone, so you start dating someone, you get to know them, and there's this honeymoon phase in the beginning, and then oh shit, I didn't know this and I didn't know that, and then how you communicate and overcome those hardships. Yeah, that's what makes you stronger and more solid, and you overcome hardships together, which every other up and comer artist, we had
there are
dozens of them.
Benefits also to being two. You can rely on each other and you go through shit together. So even tough shit, canceling a show or losing a booking, whatever, you can it's not just you against the world in a sense.
Yeah.
You have
It's
a
like
buddy.
you have each
Yeah.
other's back, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
If like, sometimes like, we have, those roles like so you're doing more of this and you're doing more of that. But hey, if you're lacking on the specific thing that you're doing, so I'm going to step in and I'm going to cover for you. I'm going to fix that situation to the benefit of the both of us. So it's essentially like two individuals coming together as one, which yes, have a lot of pros and a lot of cons in it as well. Also the money splits in half, so that sucks. So
that's the sucky part. But you need to know how to let go, because sometimes the reason we're both doing this together is because Tom's good at things that I'm not, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. What are the strengths in the roles, and how do you guys kind of divide things up? What does that look like between the two of you?
I think I can say for sure that like the business side and the social media, all of that end, that's his like thing. He's very good at that.
Yeah.
And as much as I could give my input and what I think, I know that he's very good at doing that end of the business. Yeah.
I'm also coming like my background. So in my bar mitzvah, actually in Israel. So that's when I took the money and I bought myself my first like DJ equipment, taught myself how to be a DJ, and essentially opened my first business when I was 13. Yeah. So I'm very much coming from the performer side of things, like performer and businessman side of things. Yeah. And then coming when I was back in 2011, I was already one of the biggest and most established DJs in Israel. And I was like, okay, I want to take it to the next level. So I learned Ableton, and I was talking to my best friend, shout out Jordan. I was talking to him about that, and he was like, dude, you got to meet my cousin. Like, all he does is literally sit in his parents' basement and writing the sickest beats. Yeah. And then he sent me some stuff of his, and I was like, yo, we got to meet, because I have so much to learn. Producing music, it's a completely different world from being a business owner or a DJ performer, right? Since this day, I have learned a lot, and I'm still learning every single day, but that's definitely Daniel's forte, what he's doing and the way that he's doing that, and the fact that we both acknowledge the strengths and the weaknesses of one another and how it completes to the whole is definitely the key for ideally and wishfully the success that we're looking for.
That's cool. Yeah, it reminds me of Slander, and when they both went to Icon Collective Music Production School, where I used to work. Derek was more of the producer. He was producing just for a longer time. Scott was a little bit more of the business guy. He was the people person that was more the promoter. And it was really cool how they set it up, where they basically were like, all right, Derek's going to go to Icon first, and then, that's going to help us get our music to the next level. And then as we start playing shows, we're going to use that money to send Scott to Icon. So they basically had this deal where he would go first.
That's cool. I didn't know that they didn't go at the same time.
Yeah,
that's cool.
We know them pretty well. We didn't know that.
They basically reinvested. They're like, look, let's use the money that we're going to make and reinvest that to send. That's really cool. Send Scott there so he could get his skills up. So
also, by the way,
really
we love them. We obviously we have 2 songs with them. They're being honestly one of the first big acts that supported our music from the get-go.
Really put them their money where their mouth is. It's not just play out your music, we're going to hook you up with shows and stuff
and
like
this
that.
album is also coming out on their label as well. Slander and NGHTMRE's label, Good Vibration. We're very excited for it.
Totally. So shout out Scott and Derek. We love you guys. And great segue into the album, which is coming out on their label. So tell me about the album. I want to know the story and the message around this, because there's a really cool theme and story that's tied into all of this. So tell me about that.
Well, it all comes off of the first album, Dogma Resistance, the one up here. That vinyl.
Oh, this one, right?
Yeah. That came out in 2019.
Yeah.
And basically the way we went about that album was a bit different than this one. We first had 4, I believe, singles out already.
I think so, yeah.
That we then kind of made and compiled into an album that we added more tracks into and kind of tied
so the
story
concept
together.
came after a few songs were all, I think it was like Disorder, Iowa, Jungle
Mob.
Fury, The Mob, and Overkill.
Yeah.
5 songs. So they were already out, and then we were like, there was like something in common between them, you know, like our music in general, I would say is like a journey. It's like very cinematic, like it, like, you know, like takes you on your own journey, however you would like to interpret that, right? So the first album, Dogma Resistance, came out like the concept after, like, you know, pretty much after the album was already out.
Yeah, it was done, and I think we added like 3 songs or something like that,
and some like an intro, like interludes, like a bonus track and stuff like that.
It did very well. We love that album, and like people bring it up all the time. But this time around, we wanted to do it the way you're pretty much supposed to. It's just to hunker down and write albums
from the get-go.
Yeah,
interesting.
Which was a process.
So when you guys did the first album, what made you decide to do an album rather than just, you know, leaving those 4 songs as they were? Like, what kind of inspired that idea in the first place?
I think for me, it was always, I grew up listening to albums. It's something like I like to hear from an artist, from a band or whatever. To me, it was always, album is like the peak form of creativity as a musician, in my opinion, where you could bring a theme, you tie songs together. It's not just singles or even an EP where it could be like a mishmash of a few songs. With an album, you can get out a message out there, like with a coherent sound and stuff. And I know it's not very popular in EDM, probably today even less, with the attention span and all that.
Totally.
But we still decided to do it anyway.
Yeah.
All in.
Yeah.
All
so
in.
it's really more of an artistic decision, right?
Yeah,
because
for
we're existing as DJs usually in a singles driven business, right? Put out a track every month, every 6 weeks, focus on that one thing. And so I'm always curious about what inspires people to put out an album these days, right? And so it seems like it was more of just like an artistic decision that you guys made.
And it's something that is very intimate and personal, I feel like, as well. You know, it's like more so in most like situations, at least for us, it's like it's also a lot for ourselves and not necessarily like for fans, because as an artist, you know, you can play all those shows and do all this, like, you know, viral TikTok trends and stuff like that, but like, which will go well and you will play shows. But I feel like that we almost forgot like the core of art, where it's coming from, what is the meaning of it. And we wanted to present a piece of art that we feel 1,000% confident and fulfill. And I can tell you, this album that we're working on right now is also the absolute opposite from Dogma Resistance, in a sense. Like, we're working on years on this album right now. 2019 was Dogma Resistance, and there are songs on this album that is coming out that are from back in 2020. So like
during COVID, some of these were written.
It's been like very much a journey. Like, and we decided like to pretty much go all in. Like, all of our life savings are into this album.
I think we knew even back then with Dogma that after the success of it, we were like, we always talked about, oh, one day we're gonna continue the story,
right,
and like pick it up and do another album. So we just started stacking up songs like during COVID and later. But yeah, the bulk of the work was the last 2 years.
2 years,
The
2 years, it was like, you know, like from having like, you know, drafts and like whips and stuff like that to actually like, okay, let's sit down, let's crack the code here. Like the concept, and like what we want to do, where we want to go, what do we need.
And during all of that hard work on the album, we also had to make sure we have enough music to release
that single every 6 weeks, like you just said, Nick, as well. So that was also like, last year for us, we had like a release pretty much every 6 weeks.
How do you decide what's going on the album versus what you're putting out as singles?
So the album, I think at least half of the songs are like vocal driven, like songs. And so the goal with that was very, thought out. We were like, we want these songs to also speak through the music, but also to have lyrics to go with, which is something we didn't do with the first album.
Right.
And the others, like more bangers that we wrote during that year, we were like, okay, this could work well as a release or a remix or
or how we can tie it into the album with narration and stuff like that. But I would say that this creative process in general with this album, since we were like, first of all, like we grew both personally and artistically, and also the approach coming into this album was like, was very, very cohesive, so it was like, I wouldn't say easy. Nothing was easy about this album, but it was like easier and very much more flowing, the process of like, oh, what goes on this album and what doesn't go on this album.
We weren't chasing our tails.
It was like very clear. Like the vision was very sharp, very clear.
I love this because it's getting me to see that it's not one or the other. Sometimes I think about and I talk about kind of the difference between being a DJ/producer versus being an artist. And those are kind of two different things where there almost is, no pun intended, but there is this machine that you kind of have to feed of like, all right, we got to keep putting music out. We got to stay relevant. There's kind of this pressure to always be putting something out, to be putting content out every day, to be putting tracks out. And it's almost like if you don't, like that's kind of the music business, right? Whether you like it or not.
Then you're not relevant.
Yeah. And that's not the same as being an artist, which is where you're actually, really expressing that deeper level of creativity. It's kind of like you're paying attention, not necessarily to what's happening in the scene, but you're paying attention to yourself and your own inspiration and your own authentic self-expression. I feel like I've oftentimes separated those as being, like while they are two different things, what's cool to hear is that you guys were able to actually do both at the same time. Like we are going to put tracks out and we're gonna play the game. We're gonna put the fucking
I will tell
TikToks
you that was nearly impossible. Nearly impossible.
Well, there's two of you.
Easy.
Yeah, maybe. Do you think having two of you made that possible and made that easier?
Definitely helped.
Yeah,
it definitely helped.
It helps also on the planning of things. Because like Tom is way more of a think ahead kind of, let's have a plan for the way we work on songs, what needs to be done when. So we hit deadlines and stuff. And for me, it's always like, let's say I need to finish this song this week. I go into the studio, I hear one sample off Splice that throws me in a different direction. And I'm just chasing that now because I'm inspired. So it's good to have like the balance of, okay, I get it that we're creatives and we need you can't fight that urge to work on something that inspires you, but you also need to kind of hit the deadlines and, make sure everything's ready on time.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that's also...
Yeah, that's something we struggled in the past.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
with the deadlines and because, like people, like you don't just like submit a track a day before it comes out.
Yeah.
We're very lucky in the sense of like we have a really good reputation of like, our production and like, and B, our streams. So we are very fortunate to have like the flexibility of some record labels that we work with.
Yeah.
But in most cases, you need to submit a song and wait 6 to 12 months for it to be out.
Damn.
And even when you have like really good relationships like the ones that we have, we still need to submit it like 6 to 4 weeks out.
And sometimes they let us replace like the file or something.
Like 2 days before release. Oh, we did a mistake. Can you replace the buster? It's something that you need to learn how to master. Like, I don't think, no one is perfect, obviously. And this is a creative outlet, but it's very important to learn the balance between the artistic side of the business and the business side of the business.
Yeah. It really does seem like such a delicate balance to find. And I'm curious to go a little bit deeper into that with you guys. Because I guess on the business side, what is your thought process when it comes to actually making music? Because to a certain extent, it's not like it's just like YOLO, let's just make whatever the fuck we want, right? Like you're kind of like you have a sound, you have a lane. What is that difference between when you're making music, maybe a little bit more on the business DJ producer side versus when you're like really fully on the artist side?
I think we're not the greatest example of that, because I think that in most cases we actually do what we want, and we are lucky enough. Like lucky, it's like coming from a lot of hard work, obviously, but we are lucky enough to like, to have the belief and the support of those record labels that, like, if Riot sends something, also when it comes to A&Rs and stuff like that, usually, like, as an up-and-comer artist, if you're watching this, like, you send your track and then there's an A&R that's like, obviously, like, yes or no, but also like, hey, what do you think about doing this? And what do you think about doing that? Yeah. We never have those kind of things. Like like we send a track, like, this is the track, and it's pretty much like take it or leave it, because that's coming from within. You know what I mean?
That was our attitude always.
That was
I love that. I fucking love that you guys said that, because that's just my belief. I think that there are a lot of artists that they're taking so much advice. They're looking at, well, this is the sound that this label is putting out, or this is what the popular DJs are playing, so let me make that. And let me, okay.
We were never like that.
Yeah. That's a catch-22, like that mindset. Right? We were guilty of that as well, because by the time you're chasing a track Zomboy put out, or whoever, by the time you finish the track that sounds like that one, he's already working on the next thing.
Totally.
And by the time it's not relevant,
you're already too late. Yeah, it's almost like it really is a kind of a paradox where you think that, well, in order to be successful, and I think this is what it boils down to, is everybody is in a rush to succeed as quickly as possible, right? So let me chase the trend, let me follow, the sound, but thinking that would be the fastest way to be successful, but ultimately by the time you get there, like we said, it's already outdated. Exactly. The real, maybe not the faster way, but the real more sustainable way, like, you guys have been doing this shit for 13 years, right? The way to really be sustainable is follow your own inspiration, your own authentic, creativity.
Sounds like a cliche, but it's really true. Yeah.
It's just that's the difference. I think that's the difference between being an artist and being a fucking copycat DJ, which is I hate to say it, there's just a lot of people doing that. And if you're listening to this fucking podcast and this isn't your first time hearing it, by now you should know that's just not the game that we're playing, right? We are trying to be artists here. We don't need more regurgitated copycat shit, right? There's 100,000 songs being uploaded to Spotify every day, and we need more art. We need more authenticity and originality. So
exactly.
That's the game. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's go back to this album. Tell me about The Machine, this new album. What is I just want to say I love the branding. The fucking branding. You guys have a comic book. It's all illustrated. I saw you guys have this incredible merch drop that you did around it as well. Like, I'm so curious to just know more about the actual story and the theme and the message behind it.
Yeah, so with the first album, the story was Dogma Resistance, which is the name of the resistance group on Earth that comes together to fight the invading force that is the machine.
Right.
So with this album, we were like, okay, would it be a sequel or whatever? When we were brainstorming about the narrative of it, and then we came up with the idea of it being like a prequel instead. And telling the story from the viewpoint of the machine, the creation of the machine.
Got it.
And like
the origins of the machine.
Yeah, the origins of it. So yeah, basically the way this comic book ends is the opening note of the first album.
Right.
Oh. Yeah. Amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
Love that.
And then
so can they be played seamlessly then? You could play like the
don't
first
go.
one
You're going too far here. You're going too far here. But yeah, no, it's really exciting. We thought that it would be really cool to actually go back in time instead of going forward to tell, like, the origins of the machine. So we went in that route. You will hear, first of all, it's a significantly bigger album than our first album.
Yeah,
the first album was 10 songs. This album is 15 songs, no collaborations, all original. So it's really, really exciting for the people. Like, there are a lot of Easter eggs within this album that, from the first album, for people that actually notice those kind of things. There's a lot more attention to detail with this album, and the way that it flows from one song to another, to the interludes that are in it, to the multi-genre that you have on this album. We honestly we couldn't be more excited about this project. We'll send you we'll send you the link once we're done here, so you can have like a listen to the album before it's out.
Oh, please, please. What is the machine? What is this a metaphor for something? Like, what does the actual machine represent?
I think the beauty of it, honestly, it's for per listener, it will be anything from your own life. I think anybody could like relate and find a thing that his or hers like machine.
Yeah.
We like to keep it like open ended. I don't believe artists should like feed you the, just translation of their art.
Yeah.
But I think it's
in general, like, like both Who Dogma Resistance and this one as well. Like we obviously we love fiction. Like, we love movies. We like video games. We love metal. So it's more for us about like creating a world that like also like if you listen both to Dogma Resistance and also this one, you have like 2+ minutes of like intro in which like we're bringing you into the world of this album, and wherever it takes you, it takes you. You know what I mean? So it's like, and also at the end of the album, which we did also with the first album, like there is a very kind of like a roll the credit kind of song that is very much like not EDM. Like it was like in the first album, it was like 80s like disco kind of funky vibe, and with this one is actually like a hip hop track. It's cool track. Yeah. So it's like ease you out. So we're capturing you in. You're with us for the next 55 minutes.
Let's go.
Like let it take you wherever it takes you, and then ease you back out to reality. Yeah,
I love that. I think so many artists have the vision and the desire to kind of create a world, create a universe around either, their brand and their project, or around, doing an album. I think a lot of people have that idea, but to actually execute it seems pretty freaking hard. And I mean beyond just making the music, obviously, but like the artwork. Like you guys must have invested a lot into the design, the branding.
Tens of thousands of dollars. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. Like, what does it actually take to actually fund, because, on the old days, it was you had a record label and you get $1 million contract and they're paying for, they're paying for everything. But like,
they make all the money
really
after
that. Yeah. But you guys
so for this one, is actually like it will be a good opportunity to shout out Matt Medney. He's been working with us. He have been working with us for quite a while now. He did the first album with us, Dogma Resistance, which also came with the comic book. Yeah. So he is the creative director together with us for this album. So we sat down. There is a full team of like, writers that came on this project.
By the way, let me just say this: the writers, it means the comic book, not the music.
Oh yeah.
You're like, we wrote that shit ourselves.
So that's an important note. But there is anything from like team of writers to the story to the art to the colors to the letters to the cover arts to like it's like
bring it to visuals for shows as well.
Yeah, we also did like a package of visuals. Like,
is this an agency that you guys hired that did this?
It's an individual. He's like his name is Matt Medney, but I think that his brand. Hero Projects, that's his brand. That's like that's what they do. That's their bread and butter.
So he essentially works with like writers and animation.
He gathers the team. He's like the chief. He's the project manager. And we are in communication with them like pretty much on a daily basis and more than a year time now. Like doing mood boards for every chapter and what is this chapter talking about and like which songs are going to come out before the album and what they represent. Yeah, honestly, huge project.
That's so cool. Because, again, I think so many people like, have that idea. Maybe I have the vision, but then it's like, I don't know, you're trying to make it yourself on, it's like, how do you actually make it come to life? To make it at that level, it's like, you gotta work with the team. You really gotta, invest and you gotta hire other people. And I think, again, I talk about that a lot as being like the headliner mindset. I think the there is the bedroom producer mindset, which is I do everything by myself. I make all the music by myself. I do the mixing and mastering by myself. I make the artwork by myself. I do, and it's like that you can't scale that way, right? There is this other level of when you really are becoming a headliner. It's like, we're talking about teams, marketing teams, creative teams, touring teams, like management teams. It's like running a business at that level is about teamwork and partnership and investment and delegation.
You can't do it all, but also it's like every other business, Nick, like when you have a business and the business is growing, like you need to invest more money into the business in order to grow it even more. What we invested in this album is probably 5 times more than what we invested in Dogma Resistance, financially I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So back then, but the 5 times more that we invested into this album was hard for us to do, as much as it was hard for us to do to invest a 5th back in the Dogma Resistance days. So it's like, yes, 5 times more than money, but like how important it is to actually like, pour and invest into your like art, like both financially, time, sweat, blood, tears, you name it. Like it's part of like, being an artist and also being a business owner.
Yeah. Because, right, with the investment, there's a difference between an expense and an investment. An expense is something that we're just spending as kind of going out the window, but the investment is like, all right, we're going to put this in, but we're also going to hopefully make it back. Hopefully we're going to make it back by 10, right? You guys put in that initial,
hopefully, man. That's got to happen.
Well, you guys are also doing a tour around this as well, too, right? Which I think is a big reason as an artist in the electronic music space. As much as it is a singles-driven business, and you can obviously just be touring by putting out singles. When you put out an album, it gives you a really great opportunity to launch a specific tour around that album, which that is something that you guys are doing, and would love to hear about that. Has that started yet? Are you guys preparing for the tour? When's that happening?
So our first headline date is actually like this weekend, which is a day after the album release.
Cool.
Which is very exciting.
Dallas,
yes. So that's essentially that's the first time that we're doing something of this scale. This also something that strategically was thought through very, very well. Like as of like 2 years ago, like we started to have conversations about that. That actually lead to a strategy that, for example, like there are some CDs that we decided like we got offers, and also something to talk about for up and coming artists. Like, when you get like shows offer, like when you even secure an agency to begin with, and then you get an offer, you get so excited, and it's like obviously like a yes, but there's also an art that like is the art of saying no. And be also more strategically about that. And I can tell you that in the past like year and a half or almost even 2 years, we strategically declined offers because we were building for this tour. Because we wanted to, when people see us, to actually like get the full vision and get the maximum experience that we can provide to them as fans that are supporting, buying tickets, buying merch, streaming our music. We wanted to give them something more than just like, oh yeah, we love your music, so just come to my city and I'll watch you play. We invested tens of thousands of dollars on those visuals, tens of thousands of dollars like on this like comic book and storyline behind this album. And honestly, like I think I can talk for both of us. And like we couldn't be more proud of this project, and we couldn't be more excited to share that in real life with our fans.
Yeah, let's go, you guys. I'm fucking excited for you. That's so cool. And I love that, just that lesson of like, like saying no, really building demand also, like, and doing it from a place of like, hey, I want to give you the best, and it's going to take me a little bit longer to actually prepare that for the best as well.
It also hurt a little bit for us to say no to some festivals, because we were like, okay, in a year from now, we're seeing ourselves in a way better spot, like career wise, and what we're worth. So we're going to say no to that festival today.
Yeah.
Knowing that by a year from now,
Yeah.
we're going to get a better offer. Or
Only
we're
a
gonna be
few months
worth
ago,
more.
we don't
Yeah.
need to name names and
Yeah.
stuff, but only a few months from now, we got our first offer to play a main stage at a big festival.
Big bass festival.
So that's the like, you know, and as an artist, like that's your dream. That's what you dream
Yeah.
of, right? To get
Yeah.
like a main stage offer. So, and that was the first time that we got that, and that's the first time we also said no to something of that like magnitude. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Wasn't
wow.
easy.
And that was
Yeah.
like we were looking at each other like, are we insane for doing this?
Yeah.
Like that's what we've been waiting for. But at the same
Yeah.
time, like yes, strategy and thinking like, you know, ahead, like, you know, thinking about like 10 steps from now, not about like right here, right now, but actually building something sustainable that is gonna be long lasting, because that's what we wish for ourselves, you know. And
Yeah.
there's like, you know, a reason, like if you go in this route, then yes, you can have success, but your success is going to be very short term. Or you build the foundation and you take your time and you create your own sound and your own voice.
And it's definitely going to take longer.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
13 years isn't
Yeah.
a short amount of time. You know?
I love you guys saying this so much though, because, you know, I'm coaching artists, I'm talking to artists every day. Artists are reaching out, wanting to work with me. And it's like, I see this common trend, just back to that desire for success and wanting it to happen so quickly.
Now
It's like, I want to happen now. I started producing
doesn't work like that.
8 months ago, and I'm putting out my music and I want to blow up, and I'm like, yo, like you gotta, you know, everyone is focusing. I feel like there's this race to the bottom where everybody is focusing so much on content and building their audience, and I got to post every day, and it's all this anxious energy. And I'm just kind of bringing it back to like, what are you actually promoting in the first place? What are you actually bringing to the table? I'm like, let's bring it back to the music. Just a lot of the music is half baked because you're putting so much pressure on yourself to be like, I got to be putting something out every single fucking month. And so what you're making, you're not actually giving that the time that it deserves to really develop your craft, develop your artistry, develop your sound, actually really make something that's going to make a fucking difference. Because I
That's
guarantee
crucial.
you, the better
That's so
the
true.
music is, the easier everything else becomes. If your music
That's
isn't
so
that great
crucial.
in the first place, it's like you got to be really good at marketing. But the better your shit is, it's like it makes the rest of it even
Going back to
possible.
2012, like now looking back, we were exactly that. We're like, we're ready, let's go. Like Tomorrowland main stage, like we're waiting on the fucking phone call, right? Like we're ready, it's happening. But actually, it's so crucial, the point that you brought up, because like it doesn't work that way. If there is like, honestly, like one of the most important advice that we can give as well is like, especially for like, you know, beginner artists and up and comer artists who haven't launched yet, take your fucking time. Yeah. Take your time. Like, don't have like fucking 5 songs that you think that are going to change the industry. Have 25 of them before you even thinking about launching your project. And because that way, like, you know, we pretty much feel like since we started the project 13 years ago, like now we're not in that place, but for a decade, pretty much, it felt like we're always chasing our tail.
Yeah.
Always chasing our tail.
Finish one single
before
it's due.
And if we were more patient,
Yeah.
back in the day, we would have, like, you know, like we could have been in a completely different place right now and have a completely different conversation. You know,
you just can't be a great artist without giving it the time that it actually takes to be a great artist.
Absolutely.
You know, it takes time,
Absolutely.
right? And not to say like you shouldn't put your music out, you know, like, yeah, but it's just like everybody is focusing 80% on like marketing and content and building their audience and 20% on the music. And it's like, it's got to be the other way around. Like focus 90% of your time on the music, at least in the beginning, until it gets to the point that it's actually really going to be able to do something out there, you know?
Yeah.
I also feel for like up and comers today, it's harder. With like the market being oversaturated with artists that are doing the same kind of quarter note rhythm or whatever.
We feel that as well.
It's hard
as an up and comer, like as an like, I don't know, call us an established up and comer, right? We feel those things.
We still feel like up and comers in our own way too.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys feel, you know, as much as you are up and comers, you also are successful and at a certain level in your career, you know, you're doing a headlining tour, you know. So I would argue that there's still, you know, another level to get to, but you're definitely not up and comers anymore. But at the level that you're at now, do you guys feel like, I guess, what kind of pressure do you feel at that stage where, like, this is your livelihood, you guys are at a certain stage of success? What kind of challenges and pressure do you notice come with that?
Well, definitely selling tickets.
I think that the stage that we are right now is like, you know, you can't avoid that, but it is also like the most stressful time in your artistic career. And I'll explain why. Because, you know, when you're an up-and-comer or like a beginner, like artist, and you're playing shows, you mainly play like, you know, support shows for bigger artists, and you're playing like, you know, you have festival slots, but you're playing very early, usually open the stage and stuff like that. But when you kind of like become an established artist, like there's such a big jump that you need to go over in order to establish yourself as an established artist. And that jump is jumping from support and opening slots into a headliner. And this is like the craziest jump that you'll probably do in your career, and the scariest one as well, because it changes everything. Now, like when you play a support, it's the craziest fun you can have because you have zero responsibility. And in most cases, you're playing to like such big crowds because of the headliners, and you take in your check. So it's like, it's a win-win situation for you.
Yeah. If the show doesn't do well, it's not on you.
It's not on you. And like becoming a headliner, which is a crucial moment in your career, is also the scariest one, because this is all the responsibility is on you. So now it's the first time we're doing like, you know, a headline tour like we're doing right now. We have 14 support acts on this tour to even bring more value. We spent so much on like, you know, bringing like this comic book and visuals to life in order for people to like, you know, actually get the music, but also like get the full story on the screens as well. But at the end of the day, like if we did all of that and we cannot sell tickets, because at the end of the day, it's a business like every other business. It's like, you know, it's supply and demand, as easy as that. So the pressure of selling tickets and how much is important to support like those up-and-comer artists and on their headline tours is because there's so much that it's actually behind the scenes that people are not aware of, right? Like we announced a tour, like 30 plus headline dates tour all across North America, and we still have people be like, why do you hate us? Why are you not coming here? And I'm like, I want to. I really want to come there. You know, I really want it. There's nothing more than we would love than travel the world and play our music to people that loves our music, and we're a part of their day-to-day life, you know. But at the same time, like the general public needs to understand that it's a business and there's supply and demand. Do you want to see your artist at your hometown? Then interact with their social media, comment, share, tell your friends, tag your local promoters, and raise the demand in order for that to be enough for them to reach out to our agency and book a show. And also, like when you see festivals, for example, I don't think people know that, but like the time slot that you have in the festival, more than 90% of it is directly impacted by the amount of tickets that you sold on your headline tour in that club, in the region that this club or festival is at. So if we're playing Seattle, for example, so that's have directly effect to Tacoma Dome, to Base Canyon, you know? Like if you're playing like around Ohio, for example, then that's direct effect to Lost Lands. If you're playing like Miami or Florida in general, so that's direct effect to Ultra.
That's what they look at.
That's how
at
those
your ticket sales from the local shows.
Exactly. You know, and also like people like are also mad. Like, why are you playing so early? I wasn't even able to go through the doors, and I'm like, trust me, I want to play prime time, but are you willing to put the work as well in order to help us get there, or you just want to complain?
What can headlining artists do to help increase the demand and sell tickets to their shows?
In a perfect world, I want to tell you to speak through their music, but unfortunately, we're in a day and age that social media pretty much took over the world in every way, shape, or form. And it's a constant battle for us, even on a daily basis, I can tell you that we can't really relate with everything that is going on with social media. We're also not young. Both of us are 35, so it's very unnatural for us, but we're still trying to find a way to be relevant on those platforms. In the past year, we grew from 70,000 followers on Instagram to almost 150. We grew from 1,000 followers on TikTok to 77,000 followers on TikTok.
Based on music posts,
and based on music,
way.
which is the hardest thing to do without doing all those
Cringy
TikTok trends and comments.
No, that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah.
So that's
I really love though that you pointed that out, because that's where a lot of people struggle with social media. Is they're like, I don't want to get on here and fucking do some cheesy shit. So you guys were able to do that really when you said just through music posts. So can you elaborate on that a little bit? What helped you grow and also stay authentic to just really making it about the music?
I think for us, it's a lot of clips from shows or from the studios, even the ones where you were filming behind my back, stuff like that. For example, one of those videos, I think it was Redemption, it blew up.
Yeah.
But we filmed 6 of five other different songs, and none of them did as well. So you can never really
Oh my God! The gods of the algorithm are work in mysterious ways. But this is also the thing.
But also, that's the thing, though, too, is it's not just the gods of the algorithm, but you made fucking 6 videos. You put in the work, which a lot of people are maybe just doing one video and then wondering oh, it didn't work. Fuck the algorithm. Also, it's like, no, go do 10 more. It's
the constant war, the constant internal war that you have with yourself. Every time, I can tell you that most of the clips that went viral for us, because we have almost 300 million streams across music platforms, and also on social media we have tens of millions. But I can tell you that in most cases, the stuff that we didn't think that will work blew the fuck up, and stuff that we were certain that will go viral completely flopped. So the best advice that I can give, it's send and forget. Try to not it's easy to say and hard to do, but don't overanalyze and don't let it bring you down. It's just send and forget. Next. Always look at the bigger picture instead of right here, right now, because at the end of the day, all those songs or tracks or pieces of social media content are one piece of the puzzle. Look at the entire puzzle, because it's 100,000 pieces puzzle. Not just a 10-piece puzzle. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally.
So don't overstress and try as much as possible. Don't overthink. Don't compare yourself to other people, because that's not even relevant. We are all artists and we create our own music. There is no way that someone will do what I have inside my brain, what Daniel have inside his brain. So there is place for everybody. I don't look at it as competition. It's, if anything, it's I love to seeing people succeed, especially people that I know personally, and I root for them. There is genuinely place for it's not that someone come on my expense, I come on someone else's expense. You know?
I love that. I love that you bring that last part up, because, as an artist coach, and whether I'm working with someone who's just coming up or whether I'm working with a touring headliner like yourselves, that is one of the most common things that I see people struggle with is comparison, right? Why is this person blowing up, or why is this person, they got booked, higher than we did,
Good for them. Fuck yeah.
Exactly. That's always what I bring it back to, is celebrate them, man. There's enough room to go around. There's a space for everyone. So that shift in that mindset is always one of the biggest ones I'm offering, which is to celebrate, right? When you are living in the energy of celebration, you're living a very different life and creating very different results than when you're living in the energy of poor me, I'm a victim, why are they winning? It's you can't
and also let it inspire
results.
you. Let it inspire you to get to that place.
It should make you want to work harder, basically. Work harder and become undeniable in your art. That's the way I always looked at it when it comes to the music side of it, is I'm just going to get to be the best at it, at what I do, try to be the best. And at some point it becomes undeniable. And I think that's true for business, sports, whatever analogy you want to fill in the blank. yeah, you work hard, you put in your money, your time, and you get very good at what you do at your craft, which is...
And don't give up, which is also a very,
hard.
very, very important advice that I can give, because there's obviously I don't know, millions of like very, very talented young producers out there that like, you know, like you said, Nick, like they want it and they want it now.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't work that way. And the thing that's, I think, differentiate between people that actually make it to the people that not is the self-belief that you have with yourself. Like be patient and create your own voice and sound, but also don't give up. Yeah. Don't give up. Yeah. Keep at it. Like, look at us. Like, we're 13 years, like, on this project alone. And I think, like, that's a point where most people will be like, fuck it, doesn't work. Like, I quit.
Yeah.
Even earlier.
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure. Well, and I think part of this also has to be, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like, you got to love this shit too. Yeah. Right? You really, it's like, that's the only thing that's really going to keep you in it, is it's like, I'm hearing, obviously it's like, be consistent, keep working at it, don't give up. Also, like, I really love that you said, it's just like, become undeniable. Like, there's no shortcuts. Stop looking for the quick fix. Focus on becoming the best you can possibly be. And that talent is going to be undeniable. That consistency is going to be what gets you there. But also, I think, you know, you got to love this shit. It's like, if you don't love it, you're in the wrong game. You know,
if you lose the love for it, you're never gonna succeed. Like,
you're not going to stick with it. Well, I will say you guys are absolutely unfucking deniable. I'm so excited for the new album that's dropping. So excited for the tour. If you guys are listening, go check out the tour dates. If you are a bass music fan and you want to go get fucking crazy and you want to go ride the rail or whatever you young kids are doing these days, Riot is a group you are not going to want to miss. So go check out their tour dates and make sure that you catch them. Make sure that you're engaging, you know, in social media, and just super excited for you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on, and I hope I get to see you again soon. So I know you're not coming to Austin, but we're gonna see each other again at some point.
For sure. Thank you for having us, Nick.
Thanks,
Always
Nick.
awesome.
Back to back, I'ma keep on blowing.